And welcome back to the second half of the Factor Uncensored, or should I say, howdy. My country ass producer wrote that. We know you wrote that, Sonora Harris. The wait is now over. We finally know this year's musical lineup for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. One of the biggest standouts on the list is none other than our own Houston legend, Bun B. His Southern takeover happens March 3rd. He joins us now here in the Factor studio, all cowboyed up, gussied with the hat.
Yes, sir.
10-gallon hat. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm blessed.
Well, congratulations. So, do you find out when we find out that you're part of the lineup, or you get an advance notice?
No, you know, they got to reach out early and make sure I'm not booked.
Make sure your paper right.
I saved the whole year wide open just in case they wanted to do something. And then, you know, it takes a while for what I have to do to kind of organize it because typically with the rodeo, they book different. They don't necessarily book locally. So they have different tours that are happening in the country, and they find different people, and they kind of put people in place or whatever. But for me, you know, we have to produce this thing from the ground up. It's not like I'm on tour with a bunch of people and we make a stop in Houston.
Right.
If they decide they want me on the rodeo, I got to go back and figure out what to put together.
Exactly. So when you got that call, what was that like for you a second time?
I mean, it was crazy because, I mean, to have done it once was a dream in itself. And I never even really thought like they would call me back. And if they were, not the next year. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, when they did call me, I was like, I want to put something together big, but we realized very early that we couldn't redo the same show. You know, if you get caught in a cycle of doing the same thing over and over, then you don't leave any surprises for the people in the stands. So this time we decided, since rodeo and cowboy lifestyle is a big part of Southern culture, that we would do the Southern takeover this time. So I'm gonna call some of my country homies, you know what I'm saying? Not country ass people like you, but some of my country homies.
All my life I had to fight.
But I call up some folks from Louisiana, from Florida, Georgia, you know, Tennessee. We're gonna get some country people down here that's gonna represent this thing. We're gonna have a real good time. And, you know, for me, not only did I want to bring people that could really entertain, I really wanted to show them what the real rodeo looked like, because Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is the biggest rodeo in the world. So I know they may be doing a little something in Florida and Louisiana every now and then, but this the real rodeo.
And one of the things you mentioned, it's one of the biggest music festivals. We don't look at it like that, but it is.
Yeah, no, this is literally like 28 days of concerts in a football stadium, you know, consecutively in a row. It's at least 24 days for sure. But they end up selling over 1 million+ tickets every year. And they average anywhere from 55 to 60,000 people every night. And that's kind of like doing a Super Bowl concert every night, three and a half, 4 weeks in a row. So it is one of the biggest music festivals, low-key, on the planet. And for me to be able to do that, being a youngster from, well, not young no more, but, you know, coming out of Port Arthur, Texas, man, it's a big deal.
And one of the things that we talked about was the importance of the education component.
Yes.
Providing scholarships to young people here in the community.
Absolutely. I don't think many people realize that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is basically set up and designed to build money for scholarships for young people, you know. So they sell a lot of tickets, they sell a lot of food, there's a lot of things that go on with the rodeo, but the main goal is to raise money for young people to get higher education. So for me, it's important to make sure that everybody is aware that that's available to them, so that young people, particularly of color and you know, underserved communities, can make sure that they get their hands on some of the scholarship money that's available. Now,
can you give us a preview on who are some of the acts you've been reaching out to that have said thumbs up so far? You know, I'm always looking for exclusives.
Look, I told you the states, so you can start from there. You know, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, you know, but definitely Texas.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just because we're not doing the H-Town takeover, don't mean you ain't gonna see H-Town on stage.
There you go.
You know
all right, Bun B, we thank you for dropping by and coming here first on the Factor Uncensored. We appreciate you. Howdy.
Mighty kind of you, brother.
Yes, sir.